right, Dan, you got anything for a cold open, or should we just go into it?
Dan must be excited. He set up that beautiful table behind him. Normally, he just has the ugly ass Packers shit behind him.
Thank you for the kind words, Jake. I appreciate
You're
you
welcome.
looking and noticing my effort to make this look professional.
Yeah, you brought your little high top in and everything.
I know,
Nice.
with my bad back, I wheeled that in here. So
About time. Put some effort into this podcast.
Podcast about bourbon and the ones who drink it. This is Bourbon Matters. Well, welcome to Bourbon Matters. I'm Jake.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Gold Eagle Jake.
And we are joined tonight by Ken MacKenzie, founder and owner of Fresh Victor. Thanks for joining us, Ken.
Thanks for having me, two Jakes and Dan. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, we got an email from your team asking if we wanted to have you on the show. We got some samples. I think all of us have tried one or two different things at least. So you guys make I'd say premium level cocktail mixers. And I had myself a whiskey sour the other night and was thoroughly impressed. And tonight I'm trying the jalapeno and lime in a ranch water that I threw together real quick before the show.
Fantastic.
Why don't you tell us about your story and the brand, kind of like what you guys do at Fresh Victor.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's a relatively simple story. I grew up here in the San Francisco Bay Area with a big Scottish family. And they really enjoyed single malts and gin, but mostly they enjoyed gathering together and celebrating and breaking bread with good drinks. And what I found over the years as a sweeping generalization is while the food kind of maintained that centerpiece, the drinks kind of fell off to convenience. And growing up, for me at least, the drinks were just as important, if not more important than the food. And so it was really a question of what are we drinking? What am I making you? What are we going to celebrate with together? And so kind of having that ingrained in me as I found myself as a young adult, I fell in love with a girl from Guadalajara, Mexico, and followed her back down there, got married, and found myself in the tequila industry. And over the course of time, we built brands together here in the US. And as we were doing so, what was a really interesting thing to us was that very sentiment of we gathering, celebrating, sharing, actually bringing people together with drinks. You want to be able to do that with quality. And while we felt like we had the spirit side fairly down, what we weren't seeing as much is mixers, at least when I grew up in the Bay Area, were thought of as kind of an afterthought or something that was just done because it was available. And so it was neon green, high fructose corn syrup, cloudy, just nothing that you're proud to serve. And so we were squeezing the limes and blending the agave nectar and water and doing all these different things. And we thought to ourselves, if there was really a mixer solution, if something was as good as the spirit, where you could have something that you wanted to show other people and say, I added this to this and it was exceptional. It was one of the better drinks I've ever had. That would really be something. And Jake, I got to tell you, it was so much harder than I ever imagined. I was able to get that done in my kitchen really quickly. Getting that to a production run, the acidity, the pH, the acidity against the bricks, and how they married together took a good 18 to 24 months to figure out how to do that. But once we did, what we realized is it was so much more than, what we had previously done in the tequila space. It really lent itself when you have a cold pressed, fresh mixer, it lends itself to being mixed with anything you guys like. So, we're talking bourbon, vodka, rum, gin, tequila, mezcal, pisco. It could be wine for sangria, bubbles for mimosas. It can be beer for shandies, but then you can also go the non-alc route if it's 10 in the morning on Monday and just mix it with sparkling water for a low-cal soft drink or water for agua fresca.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I noticed is just the number of different like flavors and styles that you have, which is awesome because like for sure there's something for everybody and something to mix with pretty much every type of spirit, which is also super cool.
Yeah, by the way, I just picked up my box from Jake's house this morning and was expecting like 2 or 3 different mixers, and I got, I think, 10 different.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting a 20-pound box.
Yeah, and they all look amazing. I wish I would have grabbed them a little earlier to taste a few more before tonight. I'm not going to do 10 cocktails tonight, but they all looked very, very good.
Thank you. I wouldn't underwrite that 10 cocktail run this evening. Definitely, I hope over the coming weeks you're able to kind of play around with it and experiment for yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like particularly excited about the cactus.
The cactus pear and pomegranate.
Yeah, that one I'm really excited for because I love cactus, particularly like with like tequila or something. So yeah, I'm excited to try that one next. I think.
You want to run through them really quick and just tell us all the different. Some of them, maybe point out some of the more popular ones, or did you send us one of each, or is that just like a sampling of what you have?
We sent you one of each,
okay.
So it covers our full range. As I said, they're all designed to be mixed with anything, and so it's really up to the person that has it in hand to figure out what direction they want to go in. What we really tried to do with this is cover our basis both for kind of home entertaining events, dinner parties, celebrations, as well as kind of on premise. So restaurants, bars, casinos, nightclubs, cruise ships. We wanted to create mixers that could be used and find ingredients that might be a little bit more difficult at home to nail each and every time if you don't have a facility or a commercial kitchen. And so a good example of that would be cactus pear. You don't see a whole lot of people that are saying, hey, I want to go grab some cactus pear and figure this out. It's the same with the jalapeno. With the Scoville levels, you want to make sure that it's the same consistency each and every time. And it's not ranging with one where you're just totally spiced up and you never want to have another spicy drink again, or there's just not enough of a spice level that gets you going. And so that's the thing I think that we're particularly proud of is that absolute quality and consistency behind the products where each and every time you receive it, is going to be exactly like the time before. And we started with a Mexican lime and agave, which isn't hard to imagine considering that we were in the tequila space for so long. That really lends itself to the classic margarita or daiquiri. But you can take this anyway, ranch water and, sangria and mimosas and all sorts of interaction with barrel-aged spirits. It really marries very well with that. A grapefruit and sea salt.
That's what I'm having right now.
That really is inspired by classic palomas or salty dogs. I love to mix that also with gin and a little club soda in a tall glass like yours. Like it really, it pops. And as you'll notice, Jake, when you read our label, there's nothing that wouldn't be on your grandma's shopping list. It's very simple to understand. There's no stabilizers or preservatives or things that you can't pronounce. It really is just blending classic, real ingredients together to provide a really good drinking experience for you where you're not, it's not a sugar bomb. You're not hungover. If you look at the one that we were just discussing, it's 90% grapefruit in that bottle. You know exactly what you're getting. We go on to do a jalapeno and lime, and that's
We'll
really
grab that one.
important. That's great for the people that like spicy, and that's great with tequila or mezcal or rum, gin, vodka. You really can't go wrong.
Yeah, I'm drinking it with an aged mezcal, and it's fantastic.
I love to hear that. That's the kind of reaction that we really hope for when we're making it. Of the ones that we do, you had mentioned the cactus pear and pomegranate. That one to us, the prickly pear, was a very popular flavor profile kind of throughout the Southwest. I'd say Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, even Florida to a certain degree, where it's prevalent there and in Mexico, but you don't see it a whole lot broad market. And it lends itself to being mixed with anything. I mean, we really see a lot of vodka, gin, tequila, mezcal, rum, all the neutral based spirits, but it's also great with a bourbon. It's great with, Prosecco for a really good mimosa. Or, with just different flavors of sparkling water. I like that a lot too. As we go down the list, there's pineapple and ginger, which is a real favorite of many from a culinary standpoint. We get all of our pineapples in Costa Rica. I really like barrel-aged spirits with that one. But you can also go back to neutral with just a Moscow Mule, vodka. It's really easy to use with that. Cucumber and lime. We use real English cucumbers. We leave the skins on when it goes through the emulsifier so that it really pops the vegetable itself. A lemon sour, which is right up your guys' alley. I would think that might be the kind of target, if you will. A 3 citrus and mint leaf, which is equal parts cold pressed orange, lemon, and lime with emulsified fresh mint leaf. That's great for a julep or a smash. We have a lot of people that write into us and say, hey, I tried this with, barrel aged stuff and we really, really like it. And then a strawberry and lemon and as you guys look at the strawberry and lemon, something that's really unique about that one is the fact that it's thicker. We're using real strawberries. And so you're going to see how that flavor profile really shines through.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it has a mouthfeel of a blended up drink already. And it's just, this was just vodka and the mixer in the glass, and it's got a really nice viscosity to it.
I'm surprised you had vodka.
I don't know the last time I had vodka. I have a bottle of vodka from somewhere in Poland I got. But yeah, I was surprised I had a bottle, so I thought I'd try one. So I'll say one of the first things I noticed when I opened up my box that weighed 20 pounds, which was way bigger than I expected. The first one I pulled out was the grapefruit and sea salt. So I was going through the label, and this is a grapefruit and sea salt cocktail mixer. And the ingredients are grapefruit, juice, cane sugar, and sea salt. And two of the 3 ingredients are on the front of the label. Yeah. Which got me to laugh pretty good. It's like, well, that's pretty easy to tell what's in it then.
I love the simplicity. It really is a true throwback to kind of post-prohibition as far as how you're making drinks and how you're serving your guests. And to us, you should be really proud to serve it. You should be able to say, hey, I'm really happy with what I'm handing you. It's not just quickly put together.
Yeah. And we don't talk a ton about tequila. I mean, we all drink everything because we're equal opportunity. But like one of the things when we do talk about tequila is we always push everyone to go towards the additive-free route. And better flavored tequila, way better tequila than the additives added in. Same thing kind of here. It's basically the same concept of the additive-free tequilas down in Mexico of there's nothing else in this but what's on the couple ingredients that are on the label. So
yeah, when it's agave and yeast, I'm pretty happy. It's always interesting to see what people will do to create mouthfeel. And, there's so many things that you can add from a flavor profile perspective that are technically legal that you think Americans you want to pander to. And for us, I think that a lot of what we're doing is we're really trying to get back to that basic feeling of we don't need to do anything that people weren't doing 50, 60, 70 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even beyond, the ingredient quality, I think, is pretty evident, across the whole line. But I think like you said, the harder to find, things are like really cool. Like the cucumber, and like you said, like we already talked about the prickly pear. But even like the mint and three citrus, like getting your hands on good mint sometimes is really, really difficult, especially in the winter. So
Winters in Illinois, mint's at a premium.
yeah, so like that's nice and convenient. So yeah, it's really nice that there's a lot of like variety and like uniqueness across the different SKUs, which is pretty cool.
And Jake, I can't express how difficult, and both Jakes, you'll know this from the 3-tier distribution system and everything else. The industry itself doesn't make it easy to innovate or to do something that's different from everyone else. And so, when first coming out with this, what I got for the first couple of years was, can you make it shelf stable? Can we put it in a warehouse for 2 to 3 years? Can there was a lot of questions around like, hey, why is there a code date on this? And why does it have to stay cold? And, what do we do with it? So when you're kind of blazing or pioneering something, while it gives you those points of difference that we can all enjoy on the podcast, it makes it really difficult to get it to market.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be really difficult or hard, but totally worth it. I would never go backwards because I just wouldn't create a Me Too product that's like everybody else.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions of knowing from the little bit of time I was in the spirits industry. Like I know in liquor stores, I know in grocery stores, refrigerator spaces at a premium for getting stuff on. I was happy when I realized this is one of the few things I can actually get in Utah, and there's one 10 minutes from my house. Was that just wanting to keep up the quality and fight the battle of trying to get in refrigerators at different places versus sacrificing it and have it with all the other mixers that are loaded with preservatives, sugars, things like that, so they can be warm and on the shelf for a year plus?
Yeah, I was always taught from a young age, you always want to have distinct points of difference whenever you're doing something. You want to be able to hang your hat on something where you say there's a reason that you should give us a chance or an opportunity to win you over. Not just we're the best or we're the most delicious or we're these things almost go without saying. You set that bar of course, I think I have the best product. But in reality, when you look at going to market like that, for my entire career, we were doing additive-free, estate bottled, single origin, all these sorts of things with the tequila business back in the 90s and early 2000s, just from a quality perspective of if we didn't feel like we'd have enough points of difference to go up against, other brands head to head because we needed those kind of bells and whistles. With this, it almost felt like we needed to create something that provided a solution to both the on and off premise, where consumers were wanting something. Hey, we want to drink fresh. We want to drink better. We're lower calorie because we're just not putting any preservatives or stabilizers in it. Mm-hmm. They were looking for something that quite frankly, didn't really exist. And that's both great because we were able to, slowly figure it out, but it's also detrimental because Dan, it's exactly what default buyers would say. Mm-hmm. How long can I keep this in the back? And, it gets to 110 degrees out on the dock in Vegas. And you're like, oh, no. That's a non-starter.
But, you're kind of finding your people that understand the quality of the product and making sure it's in the right hands with something like this anyway, because you don't want it to go bad with people that just don't care about keeping it temperature stable and getting it out when it's fresh. to people. So a question for you, you mentioned on premise. What percentage of your business is on versus off premise? Because I could totally see this being a awesome solution to like smaller cocktail bars that you don't necessarily need to train your bartender to make every cocktail under the sun, and you can have a very diverse menu in like a smaller setting restaurant.
That outdoor events, things like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a great question, Jake, because it's one that every brand needs to figure out from the onset. Like, what percentage are you going to split it, and where's your focus? Considering that in the long run, you're a small company and you need brutal focus when it comes to how you want to build the brand. And so if you're just all over the place, hey, I'm going to go on premise and off premise and direct to consumer, and you're not going to conquer, you're not going to win all those battles. On prem, that's exactly right. You have a bunch of fairly experienced people or even new bartenders that can just take our offerings, and it would be this exact same ingredients that they would be utilizing one by one. And so we provide a solution, and they understand it pretty readily. And so they can take our stuff and use it the same day it comes in. They know what to do. It's the path of least resistance by far. So, 85% of our business is on premise. Restaurants, bars, casinos, cruise ships, these sorts of things. Concert venues, sports stadiums, it works really, really well there. Catering as well. You're doing weddings, you're doing, all sorts of margaritas and that kind of stuff. It lends itself really well. Off premise, to your question, creates a lot more brand equity for us because we're getting our name out there. The problem is we have to educate the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? Is this juice? Or is this made to be mixed? Or, what are we doing here? And there's a certain level of education with a very small staff or company where, you want to get that messaging out there. And really luckily, where we are so fortunate is there's not a whole lot of in-kind competition. There's not a lot of people that are crazy enough to do this. And so getting that messaging out there, while it's taken time, people that find us, like you guys, tend to share it with other people, and the message just kind of keeps rolling where now we can be sold in Utah and we're getting sold in Illinois or California or Florida. And that's really rewarding if you can manage it.
Yeah. Another question for you, Ken. Obviously, when you're looking at the trends of the spirits industries and everything, especially with the newer generation that's coming up and either drinking less or focusing more on health, I think this is kind of a solution for two problems. So one, you have the mocktail side, which is something that's on the rise. We know people are getting away more and more from straight spirits, going more to the ready to drink cocktail thing. This isn't necessarily ready to drink cocktail, because if you're going to make a ready to drink cocktail, you're going to have to put preservatives, pasteurize everything.
Sure.
I know you're still growing as a company. Are you seeing a good growth in more of the non-alcoholic space in terms of the mocktail side too as well? Or with the dip in the spirits industry, are you guys also seeing a little bit of a slowdown right now?
I think the good news for all of us is cocktails are not going anywhere. I always say, let's all remain calm. This is always, it's always cyclical. It's this way with the maturing and growing of agave as well. Oh, there's an agave shortage, or, oh, there's a glutton of agave, or that, there's a lot of things that happen in the life cycle of all this. And so, yes, we have seen adjustments in people trading up to premium spirits a lot more. They're waiting longer to drink. So I would say, whereas we were probably doing things at 19, 20, 21, I'm seeing that same set of people more towards like 25 to 30, figuring out, I'm going to start with premium. And I'm going to really take a run at this and make really high quality drinks. So we really enjoy that space. But the good news for us is we have seen a real surge in mocktails or non-alcoholic cocktails, if you will. And we can play in both playgrounds perfectly. The RTD is so different from us because for us, we're really viewing ourselves as kind of a point and click solution to whatever you want to mix with.
Mm-hmm.
But we want you to at least have that one step, 1 + 1 = done. So that's enough where it's like a meal kit or something. You're bringing in fresh ingredients, but then you're deciding how to use those set ingredients.
Yeah,
that's like what I kind of like about it is like
100%.
I'm not a big fan of the RTD offerings in general because most of them are like vodka based, which is like not my thing. Yeah, and like the flavors are usually not like up my alley either.
And
so it's nice to have these like NA mixing options that I can put whatever spirit in that I feel like drinking that particular day.
Right.
And they're not like your all of your bottles are 16 ounces, which is nice because it's not. I feel like it's like a perfect size. Or like this could get you through, a really fun weekend, or like you could stretch this out over a few days or a week, without it taking up too much space in your fridge or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you on the RTD thing. Like, I'm not really a fan of any RTD, mostly because I view it as like very sub premium. And like, if I was going on a boat for the day and I want to bring some cocktails, I would bring some canned cocktails meant to drink out of the can. But if I'm having a cocktail, I want that sphere or that cube, and then use a little bit more premium liquor combined with something just really fresh and flavorful. And I'm also very particular with like my old fashions and my neat whiskey based cocktails, and not so much as knowledgeable with how to make a really good jalapeno lime margarita or your tequila more fun cocktails, which I feel like a lot of our listeners are probably the same way, more whiskey based. And sure, we love to dabble with different tequila cocktails and more fun drinks in the summertime. And this just makes it so much easier to just grab it, have something premium ready to go.
I really like the way you framed it because that's exactly it. It's, if I could figure out how to do this the right way in an RTD, I probably would have tried, but I just don't see that path. Like for us, we want you to be able to decide exactly how you want to drink it. And whether it's, utilizing our mixers with the base spirits that you guys enjoy the most or trying something new. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. You're off to the races.
Yeah, I didn't want to take the time to put the garnish on. Like we talked beforehand. Our listeners know I don't drink cocktails because it takes me too long to get to drink.
Put a dehydrated lime in mine. There you go. Class it up a little bit,
I didn't go that far, but I don't drink cocktails just because it takes too long for me to get to my alcohol.
Until now.
And this isn't this wasn't bad. This was 1.5 ounces of your spirit, 2 or 3 ounces of the mixer, shake for 10 seconds and pour out. And that falls in with what I can do.
Yeah, you're not juicing like 20 limes, to get like half an ounce of lime juice and, trying to.
If it takes you 20 limes to get a half ounce shake, you're not doing it right.
It's like maybe 3/4 of a lime. But yeah, I mean, it's nice it's like I've got 2 young kids, so taking time to make like perfectly craft like one cocktail at night is not as easy as it was a few years ago. So like something like this is super nice because it's just throw them together, stir it or shake it and you're done.
And there's nothing to be embarrassed by or ashamed about. That was the other thing is anytime I had the kind of neon green cloudy mixers that were just by default what's readily available, people would, what'd you make this with? And that's not a conversation you want to walk into. So it's a lot better when you're able to get the question, what did you make this with? Because I'd like to know. That feels really good.
Yeah, so it looks like I'm not drinking a ton of the the strawberry and lemon with vodka. It's not. It's. I'm saving this one for last because I'm really enjoying this, and I haven't had a vodka drink in forever.
Okay, good.
And it's really playing with me in a way I don't like because I don't like to admit that maybe I'll start drinking vodka again. But I'll say I've enjoyed the heck out of these so far. It tastes like if you're at a nice cocktail bar and getting your own cocktail, and it took 10 seconds to make, and that's something I can really appreciate about this. And like I opened my first one when I got home from work to start making stuff, and I'm like I'm enjoying a cocktail. And I don't know the last time I've had one.
That means the world coming from you guys. That makes it worth it, because that's really what the mission statement is. If you guys are happy with the drinks and it's something that you be proud enough to serve to others, then we've kind of hit the mark.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No,
do we want to talk about all the different flavors that we're trying?
Well,
I think
we
we're
kinda
all
went-
trying something unique, right?
Oh, like what we're trying?
Yeah, and our thoughts
Sure.
on them. And Dan, you can start since you got the most.
just the best host or the drunkest. No, so obviously with being a whiskey podcast, I got an Elijah Craig mixed with the lemon sour mix. I mean, it is a whiskey sour with no thought, no effort really, and it tastes great. I'll go over.
Egg white.
I did not put the egg white in. I'm not a big egg white fan.
Yeah, me either.
So I left that out. I saw it's an optional on there, and I didn't do the garnish, but I left the egg white out. I'm not a huge tequila guy. I got a Reposado. My choices for additive free tequila in Utah are pretty low. It's Arman Tequila, ARMAN. We looked it up. It's not out of Jalisco, which we found out finally that you don't have to be in Jalisco to be considered tequila, which we all thought was always the rule. With the Mexican lime and agave, I'm not a huge margarita guy, but I want to try it out. It's a good margarita. It's not always down my alley, but I've had bad margaritas. And Jake, I think when I met your wife, way before I met you, back at the old apartment complex, I'm pretty sure back then my mixing days were buying the pre-made Jose strawberry margarita in a plastic jug, and I just took that to the pool and drank those. Way better than that. I still don't know if that's talking it up good enough, but that's my experience with margarita style thing.
Well, I'll tell you, if you went the other way on that one, I would have just all systems stop.
No. But that's been my experience with Margs, basically. Like I said, the strawberry and lemon is phenomenal. I've been blown away by that one. I've been nursing that one because I want to save it for the end. Probably the biggest shocker. And like you said, it's because of the strawberry puree gives it a nice mouthfeel to it. It feels like a drink that's been through the blender. If I do go tropical and have tropical drinks, I prefer my daiquiris. I prefer my styles of things like these. I like to go super not whiskey. If I'm going to go tropical drink, I guess would be the best way to say it. And I think the strawberry and lemon is absolutely phenomenal for the vodka.
Fantastic.
Nice. Yeah, I'm trying the jalapeno and lime. Like I said, with a Reposado mezcal and a little bit of Topo Chico to make a ranch water. I really like the spice level from the jalapeno in this. Is like it's noticeable and it gives you like real like jalapeno flavor, which is like to me super important because it shouldn't just be like fake heat, and yeah, that with the little bit of smokiness and the mezcal is really really nice. Also the sweetness level is like perfect. Like I'm not a huge fan of like overly sweet drinks. This is like super well balanced. When I tried the lemon sour, a couple nights ago, it was the same thing. Like very lemon forward, which I like a lot. And the sweetness was like just right, and really balanced superbly with the bourbon. So yeah, I'm very happy with both of those. Can't wait to crack open the rest of them.
Yeah, that's good. The balance amongst the spirit and the mixer is dead on. And we got you sent us these nice little jiggers for one side for the spirit side, the other side for the for the mixer. I mean, for the little thought and effort I had to put into it, it's phenomenal, and that's what I appreciate.
Thank you, and thanks for saying it that way. I think with cocktails, they should be culinary.
Mm-hmm.
There should be a real aspect to this that we're all taking some pride in. And with the jalapeno lime, one of the things that I think we're the most proud of is the fact that you can actually taste the vegetable side of the jalapeno.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think is turnkey. So we use it to make ceviche, to grill fish, for salad dressings. But the idea being that if it's just strictly heat, you're probably not going to have a second or a third drink because you're going to go, okay, I did that. But
yeah,
if you actually get the flavor profile from the vegetable and everything else, you're like, hey, this is nice. I like this, and that thrills me. So thank you guys both very much.
Yeah, it is like I'd say a rare occurrence to get that flavor out of a jalapeno anything, from like, something that you buy. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed that you actually got that in here. I mean, obviously using real ingredients probably helps, but
yeah, thank you.
Probably helps. Good way to phrase.
You guys stole what I was gonna say because I'm a huge fan of jalapeno cocktails, and it's so hard to get it right. It's so hard to get the balance right, and I like really spicy things. And almost every time I get a jalapeno cocktail at any restaurant or bar, it's just there's not enough kick, and it's like more the lime that overpowers it. But there's like just enough heat on this one that keeps you kind of slow sipping it. And that's how I like my tequila cocktails. Like I did not actually add any soda water to mine. I just added the mixer and tequila, and I like a boozy slow sip on a big cube cocktail for my tequila cocktails. And these are both perfect. That and the grapefruit sea salt.
Awesome. I love how you frame that as far as the ice cube and the dilution factor. Plays such a key role into cocktails because people don't realize whether you're shaking or pouring over ice like you were just doing, that's such a major ingredient or component. I compare it to baking all the time. When you get the ingredients off on baking, it doesn't work. With cocktails, that dilution factor can add a good half ounce to an ounce in your drink. And as you're kind of pulling down the drink over that ice cube, you're enjoying that dilution factor very much.
Absolutely.
You can see we're all classy enough. We go big cubes.
Love it.
I did regular ice.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Boo.
Didn't you buy a refrigerator just because it made large ice cubes?
I was using a Collins glass, so.
Okay, fair. I thought you bought a refrigerator specifically because it made big round ice cubes.
No, he did say he was adding ranch water or whatever,
right.
Soda water, so it's all right.
That's fair.
But it works with all
it just shows it works both ways.
There you go.
We just like to give him crap all the time. Or I do, either way.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, like a lot of like, let's call them the crappier, mixers, like don't stand up to that dilution well. Like they kind of fall away with the added water and just like lose all their flavor.
Yeah.
Like I had my whiskey sour the other night while I was watching The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and like 2.5 hours into it, I was slow sipping, through the movie and still hitting all of the flavors, throughout that entire time. So yeah, that was another point that like really impressed me. Usually by that time it would be just watery and like maybe a little bit of bourbon, a little bit of lemon flavor, but yeah, the flavor was still like really nice and strong and held up really well.
That's great to hear. That's the most we can hope for here because, as we look at kind of these drink sets in various ways, as we mentioned at the top of the podcast, mixers have always been kind of considered an afterthought or something that aren't very important. But when you think about it, oftentimes it can be 2/3 of the glass. So why is, one thing getting the starring role and the rest is like, oh, and we're just dealing with this. We really want to bring attention to like everything that you guys have in your glass, from the ice to the mixer ingredients to the spirit should all have care and consideration put into it because you're consuming it
Yeah.
and hopefully sharing it,
Yeah.
depending on if
All
you're
right.
drinking alone or not.
Question for you to kind of divert in a little bit of a different direction. Since most of our listeners are whiskey-based listeners, so it's kind of like a two-part question. One, do you have plans to add more flavors and expand? And two, have you attempted or do you plan to try to add more like whiskey-focused cocktails to the lineup? Or are you set with what you got?
Yeah. So there's always room to grow or become more diverse with the flavor offerings. And that's the great thing about a small company is that we have the ability and agility to do the R&D and figure out, what directions we want to go in. Interestingly enough, with just the distribution system in the US, when you have 9 flavors and 2 sizes, because we have that pint that you guys have, the 16-ounce size, and we have 64-ounce handles, that's 18 SKUs.
Yeah.
And so distributors kind of look at us sideways and they're like, well, let's figure this out slowly. And so for me, the joy of this, that what gets me up in the morning and what I'm all pumped about is like flavor development and, trying new things and looking at things. With our existing flavors, I really like bourbons and, different ryes and whiskeys. With our pineapple and ginger, I think those marry incredibly well with the 3 citrus and mint leaf for smashes or for juleps. And the cactus pear and pomegranate is a really interesting one, but of course, lemon sour is an easy default when it comes to that. And so I like to embrace what we have with bourbon. I would like to think, Jake, that in the future, yes, that, as we're thinking about how to iterate with different spirits, that we kind of go in different directions with different ideas on those profiles.
Yeah.
And that'll happen with time.
Man.
So do you have a favorite, Ken?
Woo, it's like Sophie's Choice.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, what I will say, just going through the journey as a whole, Mexican lime and agave came first, and it was kind of that base formulation of, can we ever get this right? And I think having such a long relationship with developing that SKU kind of lent itself to, when I reach for one, I find more often than not, I have that in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from the tequila space too, it marries beautifully with tequila and mezcal and, a bunch sotol and a bunch of different agave-based spirits. But it's also really easy to use with vodka, gin, rum, these sorts of things. So that's probably the one I default to the most. I'd say with my daughters and with flavor profiles like that cactus pear and pomegranate, you just can't go wrong. Like whether it's with alcohol or without alcohol, people seem to really gravitate to that one. So that's kind of a fun one to take out when I'm entertaining and I'm trying to give somebody something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm almost 3 cocktails deep, 40 minutes into a podcast. 2.5, I guess. I'm not that big of a lush. I didn't even think about it on terms of the whiskey side. We've talked about it before. When I go to weddings or big outdoor events, and they don't have a good whiskey at the bar, which is quite common at events like that, I've switched to make me a margarita, throw the Jim Beam in it. And I prefer a good whiskey marg, and I think as soon as we're done with this, that'll be my next. Not that I'm going to have a fourth cocktail.
Why not
tonight.
right now, Dan?
I got to get
know
up
what you
and go to
think.
the kitchen.
You got the Elijah Craig right there.
Oh, that's fair. Like we can do it easy next year. We'll do a little hack. I don't got my jigger here, but we know we've done it mixed before. But yeah, I think I'll try that now. Was where you guys keep talking some mixing here.
Yeah, hopefully this becomes a thing.
I'm a whiskey marg guy though, so
I am a whiskey marg guy
Dan,
too.
Dan turned me onto those too, and they're pretty good.
it's funny too because when you're at an outdoor event on being more whiskey themed, and they don't have much for good whiskey, I've ordered whiskey margs, and people will look at me weird, and you let them have a sip, and then they change their tune pretty quick. So
I love when people drink what they like. There's a certain comfort in that where somebody has so much security in saying, I want this. And then I'm drawn to that and saying, what's up with that? Let's talk.
I've always been a reposado margarita fan. So yeah, taking the step into whiskey's not too far off.
No, that's great. And, you know, I'm glad that you guys are finding what works best for you at home. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, that works just fine. There's no problem with that.
Validation.
Yeah, that's simple and easy. Throw that on your whiskey. You can throw that on the label. I won't charge you for that one. That's just you can say tequila or whiskey.
Yeah. Residual checks will be in the mail.
Nah, that's a freebie. That's a freebie, Ken. You sent me a whole bunch of mixer, and I can get rid of some of my vodka that I've had sitting here forever. So that's a big help.
Bro, to do it. Yeah. Awesome.
No.
So
Go ahead, Jake.
I'm thinking we probably have to make this stuff available at Gold Eagle.
Love to do that. That would be
Because you're available in Illinois, but it's at a store that we don't like to discuss on the podcast that you're in Illinois.
Yeah, I don't think we're truly in the state until we talk about getting it into your place.
That's
Right? Absolutely.
This guy's
That's
done
what we like
sales
to
before.
Yeah, that's an easy conversation to have, my friend.
Yeah, we'll definitely discuss. And if you're listening and you're curious about this stuff, I highly recommend it. Definitely enough to bring it into the store. So we'll be in contact and talk about that. And I'll throw out BM Victor for a coupon code, 10% off as soon as it does come in.
Fantastic.
Get some listeners on it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Love it.
So it's probably a good time to ask you, Ken, in the meantime, if somebody's dying to get some, where can they get it right now?
The good news is you can find us on our website, freshvictor.com. And we have a fulfillment center here where we're actually able to curate any box to what you'd like to have us pack up. And so it can be in the 16-ounce size. It can be in the 64-ounce size. You can buy one bottle. You can buy as many bottles as you want. You can just mix and match with our various flavors, and we'll send it right to your doorstep.
Awesome. Love that.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a good day to come home to.
Yeah, and you know, even that, you guys, didn't come easy. Like, that was trial and error. It wasn't super simple to figure out the box and the insulation and the ice packs. Like, you know, I felt like at first it seems so elementary, but it's difficult. And I think we really have a good handle on it now, where that insulation lends itself to keeping it cold all the way to the doorstep. And that's a really good place to be when you're able to offer it to anyone and they can just do it for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So people can go to the Fresh Victor and get stuff ordered right now, or they can wait until Gold Eagle gets it. Because not only
Just wait.
Just wait. Don't go anywhere else in Illinois and get it. And like Jake always talks about, he can ship you the booze to mix with it too now.
It's a Jake exclusive.
Yeah. No other stores in Illinois that we care about carry it. So
that's right.
No.
Yeah, and if you guys want, when the podcast does come out, we can give you a 20% discount code for the website.
Oh, nice.
For your listeners. I can shoot that over to you via email, and you can just plug it right in.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Happy to.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Until it lands at the important place in Illinois.
Right.
Ken, any other things you want to plug, talk about, discuss on your time with us today?
You know, I just can't thank you guys enough for having me on. It's really rewarding to have a bourbon podcast and a panel where we can send it out to you guys and you can find your own way. I don't even have to instruct. I can just listen to what you're liking. So I'm very grateful for that. Going into Cinco de Mayo, spring, summer, you know, this is a really good solution to play around with for both alc and non-alc. And so I really encourage people. We like to work with people directly. We really like to take care of people. And if you contact us, we'll make sure that you have a really good experience with Fresh Victor.
Yeah, no, it's like I said,
awesome.
everything, the way everything arrived, I was impressed from the start. So,
Same.
and that was before I even got to try anything, and now I'm even happier. So,
Awesome.
and to be fair, I have said I sell myself out very, very cheaply, and free mixer would count as very cheaply, but this is actually like this is 100% me not being a smartass for once in my life. I've actually been very happy with everything I've been sipping on tonight.
Well,
So,
and you gave us the Jim Beam and Mexican lime and agave, so we're way
yeah,
ahead of the
yeah.
game now.
I got Elijah Craig tonight, but yeah, and use Mexican lime and agave in your marg for whiskey. So
Beautiful. Love it.
all right, Jake, you gave us a BM Victor for when you do get this in stock for 10% off. Where can people use other codes? Where can they go to find what you got in stock, Jake?
Yeah, find us at goldeaglewine.com or 255 Peterson Road in Libertyville, Illinois. Shipping available to 40 states, and we can ship this to any state, but you can also get it directly from them, which I would probably recommend if you just want the mixers, because they have the means to package it correctly with the insulation and the freezer packs. But make sure you follow us on Instagram at Gold Eagle Wine, Facebook at Gold Eagle Spirits to see when we get this stuff in stock. And then, use code BM Victor to get 10% off if you're local, and then come by and pick it up.
Awesome. Jake, if people want to listen to other episodes, watch this YouTube, see our nice setup, whatever they want to do, where can they do all that fun stuff at?
Yeah, if you want to rewatch the episode and see Dan's spread, you can watch us on Spotify and YouTube. Otherwise, you can listen on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Make sure you subscribe, rate, share the show with your friends, all that fun stuff. Make sure you check out Fresh Victor. Thanks a lot again, Ken. This was awesome. Super excited to bust into all the other samples you guys sent. So.
Thank you guys so much. I really enjoyed being on, and thanks for the conversation.
All right. Thanks, Ken.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.